in my head, the question is starting to come up, you know, why did you do this? And I just kind of kept suppressing it, suppressing it, suppressing it. And around mile 40, I completely broke down. Salt all over my skin, completely dehydrated. There was no thought of any sort of time goal at this point. Everybody had flown past me. And there I was asking myself, dude, how did you get yourself into this situation? You paid, I don't know how many $100s. You shut things down for 6 months. You know, people kept asking you, why are you doing this? You didn't have an answer for them. You don't even really know why you're doing this. And so now I'm about to turn 30 years old. I remember the race was in June. I was turning 30 in August. And I had a moment where I thought to myself, my mom's at the finish line. She'd be thrilled if I called her and said, let's get out of here. But I also, for the very first time in my adult life, kind of went into this fight or flight situation where when your back is up against a wall like that, you start to dig deep for any sort of mechanism to get yourself out of the situation. And that's when I started to kind of think, and for the first time, transcended time and thought about that young boy. And I said to myself, if he went through what he went through, if he got out of that operating room, if he handled those spinal taps, if he handled all that rejection, you know, constantly isolated out on the playground, you know, no one wanted to speak with him, always last on those suicide lines. This man can figure out how to get through this moment. And that's when I picked up on some of those items that I had alluded to earlier, celebrating small wins. And immediately my mind went to, you have 30 miles left to finish this race. Instead of looking at it as 30 more miles, what you're going to do is you're going to look at it as 1 mile 30 times, and you're going to celebrate every single mile. And mentally, that's essentially how I finished the race. I think it took me a little over 8 hours. But what was really special about that was I got through that finish line, and I think people felt bad for me. But I had never felt more empowered in my
Yeah.
entire life because I finally cracked the code. I finally found that I had this strength within me that I had been carrying for 30 years, that I hadn't told anyone about, that I can do hard things, that I could put myself in these crazy situations and my mind can not only get me out of them, but can get me out of them stronger and better positioned for literally everything that came in my life thereafter. So that's why the podcast is called Mile 40, because, you know, after several years and a couple other things that we'll dive into, it became evident to me that the one thing that unifies us all as humans is that we all have moments where we bottom out. And if we take a second to dig deep, we all can overcome those obstacles in unique ways. And for me, that was, you know, channeling the lessons that my parents taught me.
What a fantastic answer.